course, in the past, Detroit police have imposed a curfew during the fireworks show along the Detroit River. But this year, they want something a lot more draconian, you might say. The curfew would last 4 days, all the way from June 19th through June 22nd.
It would require anyone who is under 18 years old to be with a parent or a guardian between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. There are some exceptions to that. The Detroit News reports that minors would be allowed on sidewalks in front of their homes, and they could run errands for parents if they have a note giving them permission to do so.
Well, last year, police arrested 148 minors just in that one-night curfew for violating the curfew. They were held until parents picked them up, and then they were given a $50 ticket they had to pay. Now, the ACLU has weighed in on this, calling the practice unconstitutional, and they pledged to fight this one if it is enacted again, and especially if it's expanded to those 4 days.
That's right. Joining us now, Councilman Andre Spivey. Councilman, thank you for being with us. We have seen this curfew before. We've talked about, right, for one night only. Can you first explain to us why police are pushing for an expansion from 1 to 4 days?
Well, there have been some concerns from last year's River Days, particularly on the Saturday of the River Days, where we've had an influx of young people. And I won't say exactly under 18 because you can't really tell who's there, but we'll just say the young generation. I've caused some troubles. I've asked for 3 extended days. I'm very supportive of the 1 day of the fireworks on Monday, but I have some very deep concerns if we add 3 additional days. That we're asking all people under 18 across the entire city of Detroit to remain in front of your house or to have walking papers, if you will, to be outside. So hopefully we can come to a compromise before this Wednesday's public hearing and to make some changes to this emergency ordinance.
Now, the ACLU has weighed in, as we might expect they would, on something like this, and they claim that there is really racial bias in such a curfew. Do you feel that's the case?
We hear from the ACLU every single year, even on the just the Monday emergency ordinance curfew. And when I initially read the ordinance, there are some racial overtones. But however, our city is predominantly African American. So, in the footage that we saw on news media such as yourself from last year, we saw predominantly African American young people in the streets causing the melee. And so, we want to make sure that it's not racially motivated, that it's only motivated to give our DPD a tool to fight crime those 4 days. However, I think as you said, Stephen, draconian to have an entire city of 18-year-old and under people under curfew for those 4 days.
You mentioned just a minute ago that you'd like to see some sort of compromise worked out or something. Ideally, what would you like to see? Is 2 days okay? 3 days? Back to the 1? What are you thinking?
There are 2 of my colleagues who are pushing to move that time back from 6 to maybe 7 or 8 p.m. for the curfew to begin. I'd like to see a boundary. We have children, if you will, on the northwest side of Detroit, far east side of Detroit, who will not be a part of River Days if they don't come down there. I'd like to see a smaller boundary taking place around downtown somewhere. So hopefully between now the council can talk to DPD administration to lower that boundary so as to not cover the entire city. We have just a small number of people causing the trouble here, and all of our young folk across the city should not have to suffer as a result of those people who cause the trouble, which is not a large number.
Now, Councilman, we know you are against this pretty much as it's written, and a lot of people will also be against it. But we're also hearing from people who are saying, hey, yeah, this is a great idea. Get the young people off the streets because they're the ones causing the trouble. So what do you say to those constituents who call and say, no, I want this?
Sure, I say to them, and I've not had many calls yet, Stephen, of those saying we're totally against it, but I will say to those who do think that way, we have a number, thousands of young people, and I'll give some geographic boundaries. In my district on Warren and Mack, nowhere near downtown, 8 Mile and Telegraph in Detroit, nowhere near downtown, Plymouth and Evergreen, nowhere near downtown. Do these children have to suffer as a result of just a small number of young folk who are causing the trouble? And again, DPD has done a great job in the past. I know they do a good job this year, and this is just one small tool. I think we can tweak the tool that they want to use to make sure we keep the crime down. And at the River Days, there's already a curfew. If you're under 17, you can't get within the boundaries without an adult or legal guardian. So we know River Days will be taken care of. But as they move outside that boundary, how do we make sure that people are safe throughout the entire city of Detroit? So if we can get a smaller boundary and DPD can control that boundary, I think we'll be fine these 3 days, and then expand that curfew for the entire city on fireworks night. We have 1 million people coming downtown to make sure everyone is safe, whether downtown or in our neighborhoods.
Councilman Andre Spivey, thank you so much. Keep us posted on the tweaking of this for sure.
Thank you.